Franco Mastantuono, Real Madrid's 18-year-old prodigy, has finally opened his scoring account for the club. Throughout the early weeks of the season, the Argentine youngster had been a constant presence around dangerous areas, lurking inside and outside the box. But the finishing touch had eluded him. Until now, Mastantuono struck with a finish of sheer precision, drilling the ball into the corner of the net, out of reach for the goalkeeper. What made it even more special? He did it with his right foot, the one many don't even consider his strongest. Xabi Alonso's faith has been rewarded. And perhaps, just perhaps, Real Madrid have unearthed their next Angel Di Maria, a player with the potential to develop into something extraordinary. First goals always carry a unique weight. They're not just numbers, they're statements, doors opening to recognition. And at Valencia, against Levante, Franco Mastantuono had his moment. A razor-sharp counterattack, minimal touches, quick thinking, and a finish as cold as ice. In Madrid's 4-1 victory that extended their perfect start, Mastantuono didn't just score. He showed glimpses of the type of player who can bring balance to the team's attacking structure over time. Even more poetic, his first goal came on September 23rd, the very same date, over 7 decades ago, when Alfredo Di Stefano scored his first for Los Blancos. An Argentine marking history in Madrid, once again. On the pitch, Mastantuono looks completely at ease within the collective flow of Madrid's play. At times, he's the decoy. At times, the tempo setter. Always available, always aware of when to push the line higher. His maturity lies not in trying to force the spectacular, but in knowing when to slow the rhythm, when to thread the unlocking pass, when to stay within the structure yet still shine. For an 18-year-old, that composure is rare. And yet, he does it, through clarity in every choice he makes. When Madrid need width, he hugs the touchline. When safety is required, he recycles the ball. When the spark is needed, he cuts into the right half space to unleash a piercing pass behind the defense. This brand of practical elegance leaves a stronger impression than any overindulgence in flashy dribbles, especially at a club that prizes system and balance as much as Real Madrid. The first thing you notice about Mastantuono is his fluidity. He receives the ball on his left as naturally as breathing, opens up with the first touch, shifts with the second, and accelerates just enough to glide past his marker. His upper body remains poised, his head always up, scanning the spaces ahead. It's the aura of a footballer who plays with his mind first and his body second. Mastantuono's emergence could not have come at a better time for Real Madrid. For the past few seasons, the team's attacking weight has leaned heavily toward the left, where Vinicius Jr. has been the focal point. But this season, the picture is shifting. The right side is becoming more prominent, and Mastantuono is the hinge, receiving the ball in the right half space, turning his body and opening passing lanes across the pitch. The numbers from the recent match against Espanyol highlight this transformation. He outpaced Vinicius in dribbles, touches, and tempo setting, while the team as a whole showed less dependence on the left flank. In pressing, he has already become a trusted trigger, steering opponents into Madrid's trap, waiting for the wrong touch, and striking to win possession. For a player so young to show such tactical awareness explains exactly why Xabi Alonso has placed his trust in him so early. The comparisons with Angel Di Maria are inevitable, and not only because of their playing style. It's about the story. 2 young Argentines leaving home so early, crossing the ocean to embrace the daunting challenge of wearing Real Madrid's famous white shirt. When Di Maria arrived in Europe, he carried both the hopes of Rosario and the skepticism of those who doubted him. One hand gripped his dream, the other held the weight of doubt. Mastantuono is walking that same tightrope now. Just 18 years old, remarkably composed, standing under the bright lights of the Bernabéu, and speaking with maturity, working with care, letting the ball speak louder than his words. Both share the same psychological journey, from dusty pitches in South America, where football is the pride of the neighborhood, to the unforgiving spotlight of Madrid, where every touch is scrutinized by tens of thousands of eyes. And both belong to a proud lineage of Argentines who have left their mark at Real Madrid, from Di Stefano to Redondo to Di Maria. a tradition that marries romance with pragmatism, where the beauty of a left foot is matched only by the relentless ethic of hard work. What binds them even closer is their humility. No grand promises, no slogans, just the quiet accumulation of trust, match by match. If Di Maria once carved out his place among a galaxy of stars, Mastantuono now seems to be replaying the same overture. But perhaps the most fascinating part of Mastantuono's story goes beyond tactics, performances, or even goals. It lies in the journey of becoming a Madrileño at just 18. At the Bernabéu, every talent must learn a new language. Not Spanish, which he already speaks fluently, but the language of expectation, of cameras, of endless travel and commercial obligations. For a South American teenager stepping into the center of the global market, adult decisions arrive fast. Should he keep his social media minimal or craft a glittering personal brand? How much of his life story should he reveal? Should he allow the spotlight of marketing to eclipse the quiet professionalism he seems to value? Here, maturity is measured not just by what you do on the pitch, but by how you design your life off it. Sleeping well, eating right, following disciplined recovery routines, and above all, knowing when to say no to distractions that don't serve football. Outside the pitch, Madrid becomes a cultural classroom, from learning to blend into a multilingual dressing room, respecting unspoken hierarchies, understanding the city's rituals, to performing for stands that appreciate the understated beauty of a single, intelligent touch. One of the most fascinating chapters in Mastantuono's story is tennis. At just over 12 years old, he stood at a crossroads, continued chasing tennis, where he ranked among the top 5 in his age group in Argentina, or accept River Plate's invitation to commit fully to football. The way he and his family weighed the options, then decisively chose football, speaks volumes about his organized character, someone who knows how to choose a path and accept the sacrifices it demands. And yet, his tennis never truly left him. The quick-footed steps, the upper body balance, the ability to read an opponent, those traits are all mirrored in the way he now plays football. When he left River Plate, Mastantuono wrote a short but moving farewell letter, thanking what he called his second family, acknowledging Madrid as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, while promising one day he'd return. And when he arrived at the Bernabéu, he made waves again, not with a goal, but with honesty. Asked about the best player in the world, he named Lionel Messi. It was a very Argentine answer, authentic, and perhaps one that made a few Madridistas raise their eyebrows. But above all, it revealed his independence. He wasn't trying to please the crowd. He was faithful to the football he believes in. And on the other side, Angel Di Maria himself had no hesitation in publicly praising the youngster, expressing his hopes for Mastantuono in Madrid. Add to that his early involvement with Argentina's national team during a generational transition, even sharing the same pitch as Messi, and his profile becomes clearer. A calm, elegant young Argentine, aware of tradition but determined to write his own story. Of course, not everyone who arrives at Madrid at 18 becomes a star, let alone a superstar, like Vinicius or Rodrigo. The Bernabéu is both cradle and crucible, capable of amplifying brilliance but also exposing every crack of youth. Just look at Endrick, a year older than Mastantuono, already carrying immense talent and sky-high expectations, but still walking through the fog of uncertainty. Mastantuono, for now, carries a rare gift, the almost unconditional trust of Xabi Alonso. That belief is a runway, long enough for an 18-year-old to fly, to stumble, to get back up again without being judged too harshly. Alonso's gamble is proving right, and what's striking is that he chose not to play it safe. Instead of leaning on veterans like Rodrigo or Brahim Diaz, he placed his bet on Mastantuono. In Madrid, that is unusual. At 18, Vinicius once sat on the bench, even dropped to the youth side to learn rhythm. Mastantuono is different, thrust straight into the main story from the very first chapter. And the Bernabéu has responded, not just with fleeting cheers, but with a calm, steady trust every time the ball finds his feet. The trident of Vinicius, Mbappé, and Mastantuono isn't just a headline. It's confirmation of Alonso's vision. He dared to place a teenager in the right role, at the right time, That gamble is blossoming into rhythm, into a style of play. And if the trajectory holds, history will remember it as the start of something bold and precise. But Real Madrid has always been a club of contrasts. This is, after all, the same club that once turned its back on the hero of Lisbon, 2014. Di Maria delivered a glorious season, dragging the team through its toughest moments, only to be sold in the summer for James Rodriguez. Madrid reminds us that individual brilliance must always coexist with the cold logic of history and the market. That's why the hope with Mastantuono doesn't lie in one debut goal, nor in a few highlight reels, but in the way he takes each small step. Yet small steps alone won't be enough. He will need bold strides too. He must lower his head, relearn the things he thinks he knows, and accept that for now he is simply one piece of the machine. If fortune continues to favor him, with a patient coach, a protective dressing room, and a Bernabéu willing to wait, the gentle light shining on him today may one day blaze bright. In a club where every detail is scrutinized, the most valuable trait is not flashes of brilliance, but trust. Give him the ball, and the rhythm holds. Place him in the structure, and the play still flows. That's why the applause in Valencia wasn't random. Those traveling Madrid fans understood exactly how important Mastantuono already is, and will be, to this team. At Real Madrid, that is the highest measure of praise, when your presence makes the team look every bit like Europe's fiercest collective. And if one day trophies and spotlight follow, they will only be the natural consequence of the qualities Franco Mastantuono already carries. Keep striving, keep growing, Franco. The story is only just beginning.